Welcome to the You Empowered podcast with your host, Justine Jetty. If you want to unlock your potential and step into the most authentic, healthiest, and happiest version of you, then you're in the right place. Each week we'll dive into practical, evidence-based strategies for your habits, mindset, and health so you can create a life and a body you love. Let's get into it. Hello there and welcome back to the You Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Justine Jetty, and today we're going to be talking all about things procrastination and how you can break free from it. I don't know about you, but I'm no stranger to procrastination. There are many times in my life that I've procrastinated. I procrastinated when it came time to launch my online business. I procrastinated when it came time to plan for this podcast. And there have been many times where I've procrastinated over sending an email or having a difficult conversation. Sometimes it was subtle for me, like pushing something ahead to another day or the next week and giving myself the excuse that I just needed more time to do it, or I just didn't have time to do it today. Other times it was really obvious for me, like in lockdown, I spent months putting off recording lessons in my academy because I was afraid that my labor of love would be a labor in vain and that my hard work would be for nothing. And that's the part about procrastination I didn't realize until I started studying it and understanding it. My procrastination wasn't about me being lazy or undisciplined. It wasn't about how I was managing my time or how busy I was. It was because I was scared. Scared of something happening or something not happening. The uncomfortable truth was that I was procrastinating on important things, important actionable steps, important decisions that only I could act on. And one could argue that my procrastination was justified because I wanted to ensure I chose the right course of action. But really, procrastination was a lack of trust in myself. Because it's okay to not feel 100% certain before taking action. It's okay to feel fear. That's normal. That's a part of being a human being and having the human experience. But if you're letting that dictate your action or inaction, that's when it becomes an issue. Since then, I've studied procrastination and gained a much deeper understanding of it. And in this episode, I'm bringing you my key insights so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. And hopefully, if you find yourself procrastinating, you'll have some useful tools to help you break the cycle once and for all. So I want to start by helping you to understand what procrastination actually is. Procrastination is not a time management issue. It is an emotional management issue. It's not that you are lazy, it's that you're avoiding discomfort. So here's what's actually happening in your brain when you procrastinate. You've got two major players involved here. The prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain that's logical, future-focused, and helps you make decisions aligned with your goals. It's like your inner coach, reminding you of what matters most long-term. Number two, the second player you have is the limbic system. This is your emotional brain. It's fast, reactive, and wired to protect you from discomfort, pain, or perceived threat, even if that threat is an awkward email or a fear of failure. But here's the kicker though. When you're about to do something uncomfortable, like starting a new habit, having a tough conversation, or putting yourself out there, your limbic system goes, nope, too risky, we're not doing that. And in that moment, it overrides your prefrontal cortex. So instead of taking aligned action, you end up scrolling or snacking or doing productive procrastination, which is like reorganizing your pantry, folding laundry, or ticking off a lower stakes task instead. It feels productive for you, but it's actually avoidance. Because your brain doesn't care about your goals, your dreams, or your desires. It cares about your comfort and safety. Procrastination essentially gives you short-term relief, but creates long-term pain. So now that you know what's actually going on in your brain when you procrastinate, let's talk about what to do about it. This is where my align method comes in. So I'm going to be sharing with you today my align method. How to overcome procrastination and take aligned action, even when you feel stuck. This method is grounded in psychology, identity, and self-trust, and is designed to help you move from fear and avoidance to clarity and action without relying on motivation or perfection. So the A in align is acknowledge. Acknowledge the resistance. What part of me is uncomfortable with this? Resistance isn't weakness, it's a signal. So ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Where do I feel this in my body? Is this fear, pressure, or uncertainty? Before you reflect, I encourage you to take a breath, pause, and check, am I regulated enough to reflect? If not, stand up, move your body, breathe, or ground yourself. And I want to remind you that resistance doesn't mean you're broken. It means that you're growing. The second part of the align method is the L. L stands for label. Label the fear. What am I scared will happen if I do this? Fear only holds power over you when it stays vague. So naming it and getting as much clarity as you can on it creates distance and starts to dissolve it. So are you afraid of failing, being seen, or getting it wrong? Get really clear on what your fear is. Most procrastination is fear, disguised as your excuses, so it not being the right time or whatever excuse you're telling yourself. So get really specific. Vague fear creates paralysis. Clear fear creates power. The third step of my align method is the I, which stands for identify. Identify the separation. Is this task triggering something about who I think I need to be or who I am? Separate the task from your identity. Doing the thing isn't a commitment to a full path, it's one move. You're not lazy and you're not failing. You're facing discomfort, and that is deeply human and a part of life. I want you to hold the reframe that this is not a referendum on who I am, it's just a thing I'm doing. The G part of the aligned method is for ground. Ground in one micro move. What's the smallest possible step I can take right now? This should be the lowest barrier action step you can take. So maybe it's not writing out the full essay, it's opening the document and writing the first word, or setting a 5-minute timer to just write whatever you can. Instead of committing to a full 45-minute workout, maybe it's just getting to the gym and doing 10 minutes of stretching, or going for a short walk around your block instead. Your brain, as I mentioned previously, craves safety. So creating micro moves actually lowers the threat or the perceived threat that you're feeling or experiencing. Tiny action actually builds momentum. You actually create progress not by doing the big, huge thing, but by taking small action steps towards it, even when you don't feel ready. If there is one thing that I've learned in my life, both in my health and fitness journey, running a business and being a coach, it's that productivity doesn't always mean progress, but small aligned action always does. So the last step is N. N stands for name. Name your why. Why does this matter to me? Anchor it back to your values or the future that you're trying to create for yourself. And if that future feels distant or unclear, go smaller. What does this benefit? How does this add or enhance my life? What part of me does this honor? How does this move me closer to the woman I want to become or the outcome that I'm trying to get? And I just want to share a bonus here. Integrate this with action. After you take the step, pause and reflect. How do I feel after doing this? This reinforces emotional safety for you and rewires your identity from someone who avoids to someone who shows up. And the core truth that I want to give you and end on is you don't need to wait to feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. And imperfect action will always beat perfect inaction. Imperfect action is always enough for you to start. So that's it for today. If this episode struck a chord with you and you're realizing that your procrastination has been keeping you stuck in patterns of fear, emotional avoidance, or self-doubt, then this is exactly the kind of work we do inside my EWTA coaching programs. We don't just talk about change, we create it in a meaningful, sustainable, and lasting way. Whether it's breaking through self-sabotaging behaviors, building healthier habits, and unshakable self-trust, or finally becoming consistent with your training and nutrition, even when life gets hard, that's what my coaching was built for. If you're tired of overthinking and starting over and you want something that actually is designed to last, hit the link in my show notes and book a free strategy call with me. We'll get really clear on what's keeping you stuck and whether my coaching is the right fit for you and where you want to go. And if you know someone who needs to hear this episode and it's going to support them, please share it. Share it with friends, colleagues, or even your family. Subscribe and come back next week, and let's keep doing this work together. Until next time, take care.